Hey guys, this is the second part of a three-part podcast. If you missed it, you can check out the first bit as well. In the upcoming segment, I talked to Aaron and Nadja about their crazy, phenomenal bus trip through the US and what the heck that was about. Here we go. I mean, the school bus ride travel. How did that start? I mean, you're not just going to the morning school bus driver saying, "Is there another like car that nobody uses?" Or how did the connection to the empty bus start in the first place?
We were still in Bremen and we were actually just looking at camper vans to travel through the US. And then I looked on Craigslist, which is like the American eBay Kleinanzeigen, you could say.
Yeah.
And there was a school bus on there. And I think I just asked Aaron, how about a school bus? And he said, yeah, why not? And from that moment on, we were pretty sad about the idea of getting a used school bus and just clearing it all out and building a little house into it. Yeah.
But that was definitely playing into your both's like passion for also like building with your own hands and like creating something new, because I mean you would have done it much easier and faster, I guess, if you would have rented an already done caravan that you can travel with, right? So a school bus, looking at a school bus, you can't even really sleep on it, right? Sleep in it, because there wouldn't be like, it wouldn't be comfortable if it's just seats.
I mean,
so you took them all out, right?
Yeah, we took them all out with like a metal grinder, spent a day doing that, and then we basically just everything from scratch. And we had the idea in our, to make up like a really amazing, specifically designed interior bus that we live in essentially. And
is it still alive, by the way?
Yeah, we did sell it though.
You sold for how much? Like, was it a rarity of like people paying $1 million for it in the end?
No.
That's how you got rich?
It's probably worth more than we sold it for, but
okay, I see.
Yeah, it was, I don't know. We bought it for like 3,800 or something, 37, and then sold it for almost 6,000.
Wow.
So
okay. Cool.
Yeah, we made
the
a little bit of money on it, I guess. That wasn't the objective, but yeah.
And after having all the seats out, you just like transformed. You didn't have a kitchen or something in there, right? Or toilet. So it was for sleeping purpose.
We
and
actually
like,
did. We had a bed, which we found really nice wooden studs from the dump, and just picked them out. And
I can see you talking about that time, man.
Yeah,
it really feels like such an adventurous, crazy time, man.
We got like 70 pallets from some guy in Lincoln, Nebraska, and loaded them in the bus actually when we had taken the seats out. So the entire bus was full of pallets, and then we drove those home and took them apart, and we built a composting toilet. Like, we built the walls out of pallet boards essentially, and then we had a little toilet that had a bucket that was cut out inside of a little table that would normally be at the end of a couch or something, and then you put like sawdust in every time after you poo or whatever. Like, yeah, that's one of the ways a composting toilet works.
But so
carbon.
You're pooing in the toilet in the bus, within the toilet of the bus, but it gets out, but with a hole. Did I get that right?
Well,
it lands on the actual floor, not on the bus floor.
No, we had a bucket, like one of those like plastic buckets.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I missed that. Yeah.
And then made like a little foot pedal mechanism to kick it out of the thing. I don't know, I can't explain it, but it was kind of cool. And
nifty little.
Yeah, what you do with it. I think one time we actually put it in a porta potty, which is probably not so legal. But then we there's like RV stops that have waste removal places. I don't think we ever actually used one of those, but we had thought about doing that.
We had thought about it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of times where you just use like a Walmart or something like that. These things are everywhere, and nobody says anything to you if you just go use the bathroom.
So Nebraska was where you started off?
Yeah.
Around what's the town called?
Lincoln.
Lincoln?
Yeah.
Is where you were living for most of your life?
Yeah, I was born there.
Is that like, it sounds familiar to me, but is it like the capital?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the capital.
There could be like a million Lincolns, and I'm talking about the wrong one. Okay. It's the most famous Lincoln then, right? It sounds to me like I've heard Lincoln,
Abraham
America
Lincoln.
before. Okay.
The guy who got rid of slavery.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's
US,
another.
yeah.
That's another
The president.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope my boobs are on my picture.
And then you started like riding with it, just the two of you with the bus.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Two of us drove. We had like.
Did you have a destination?
No,
back then?
Not really.
No, dude, we don't have a
Yosemite was
destination.
kind of
We wanted to go to Yosemite, and like we knew California we were going west, so it was California was kind of naturally, and it was winter time, so we wanted to
Dude,
go
we didn't
warm.
have a destination. We're so close-minded. There's no destination in life. We wanted to go to Burning Man, and no, so you just had Yosemite in your mind at
Yeah.
first.
Yeah,
Okay.
we didn't know if the bus could make it because it's like in the mountains. So we'd be on like a massive hill. As you go further west, there's just gigantic hills, and we'd go 20 miles an hour
That's insane.
through long stretches of road. And then we didn't know if we could make it, but we just did it and rode like 20 miles an hour the whole way and made it. Saw Yosemite. It was well worth it,
Yeah.
I would say.
Wow.
Have you ever been on streets like really steep next to you, being like, shit, what the fuck are we doing? Like, I'm really getting
There was
anxious
actually-
about the whole situation.
Yeah, there was actually one time where we were leaving Flagstaff, Arizona, and
Yeah.
we were going down a massive hill.
Whoa,
and
shit.
There was like the traffic was, it was dark, it was nighttime, and the traffic was actually pretty heavy, and all of the cars in front of us were stopping, and they were really fast. Like, it was like one of those really fast slowdowns, and I had my foot like all the way on the brakes right away,
And it's still like,
and we like the cars were stopped up in front of us, but the bus was we were going down this massive hill, so we were already going 80 miles per hour, which is like, I don't know how many kilometers per hour.
120.
which is
Or
definitely top
110.
speed for the thing, right?
Yeah,
For
like
the bus.
normal
Yeah.
Autobahn speeds. And yeah, and then
You underestimated
we-
the whole weight that you pushed with it going down.
well, yeah,
Kind
I mean,
of
like,
when all the cars in front of you.
if you're on
push the brake.
if you're on that steep of a slope, which was I think 7%.
Okay, yeah, I
you
see how
pretty
that
much
is.
have
Yeah,
to slam
really
the
steep.
brakes the whole way, and you're still going fast. So it's like you like try to maintain the normal speed, but you're on the brakes. So it's
So before you hear the rest of the story, we have a 5-minute break, and no. So what happened?
I think we came within like 2 inches of hitting the car in front of us,
No way.
which we're a 40 foot school bus, so we probably would have destroyed everyone.
Yes,
but
yes. And probably like several cars would have been damaged if you
Oh,
hit
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we would have bulldozed through them.
Was it just for my like? I'm just curious. Was it due to a cross? How do you say a crossing? A crossroad?
Yeah, crossroad. No, it was a
Why?
like we were on the interstate, I think, or a highway, similar to the Autobahn.
Yeah.
But so it was like a normal road, but for whatever reason there was whatever, a backup where all the cars had to stop, and yeah, it was intense. It was really intense. I remember we were both just like I don't know, Nadja was
Sweating.
half asleep.
I was
but-
half asleep.
So I
And
was in that
afterwards, I was
situation,
pretty white.
and like when we were still further back, I really thought like we were gonna hit these cars. Like I for sure thought we're not gonna be able to stop, because the bus is like one of the biggest school buses that you can buy. It is the biggest school bus that you can buy. So I was like,
it was this typical. I mean, I hope I can insert like a picture, but it was this typical yellow.
yeah,
Long school bus that
But we-
everybody knows from like The Simpsons and every like cartoon or show you ever watched in American, right?
kind
That's
of.
how it looked
But
like.
it had the flat front,
Okay.
but it was a school bus still, and we painted it white.
What did you like? Do you remember what year it was built? I mean, I would
Yeah.
estimate it would have been like 80s
No, it was-
manufactured or something.
It was 1995.
It was 95.
Yeah.
Okay. That's still. It's funny how cars from the 1990s are becoming old timers in a few years.
For sure.
Like the
Yeah.
old C-Class Mercedes that everybody drives in Germany is an old timer in 2030, I think. 2020, in 3 years. You survived that.
Mhm.
You were sweating, and that night Lily was created, you said, due to all the stress.
It was like an hour from Flagstaff was the Grand Canyon.
Yeah, it's just
Okay,
north
so
of
that's okay.
Flagstaff, the Grand Canyon.
And that's where you headed?
No,
No.
we were going to, but
But we didn't have
I
money.
mean, in that situation,
didn't have what?
we were pretty broke. We had spent all
Wow.
the money on the bus, and
Wow, that's so
we
cool.
wanted to save money for gas for the rest of the way, and we just, sort of in a desperation, just thought, oh no, let's just drive to California and go straight there. And it was cold. We were just really cold, and sort of made a desperation decision in that moment. And
I do remember pictures of you being joined by people. I think
we did pick up some people in Arizona, or just before crossing into California. We stopped at like this desert gas station, and there was this one shop there that sold the most random things ever, and it was totally stuffed. It was really like in a strange movie, whatever. And they had been living in like this desert. I forgot what the desert community is called. It was in Arizona.
Wow.
Tucson?
No.
Okay.
Was it a typical like hitchhiking situation of people like putting their thumbs up?
Nah,
Or
we
you met them
stopped and they came
Okay.
up and asked, and were like asking if they could ride with us, and we actually drove with them all the way to the coast in San Diego, and we dropped them off at the beach, and they just hopped out and said, "All right, thanks."
We just want to go to the
See ya.
beach.
And then we were just like, "All right." It's like, dang, they're
Okay.
gonna have a great time. Just drop them off right at the beach. Go from the desert to the San Diego ocean.
Just to have a rough idea of the distances, so how far was the Lincoln Flagstaff thing before you arrived in California? Or like Nebraska, California, how many miles,
I don't
kilometers
know.
is that?
Exactly.
roughly?
It's like it's over 1,000, I think.
Okay.
It's a good question. Yeah.
Something like that.
But yeah, quite a bit. I mean, yeah, it took us. I mean, we stopped and slept places, but it took us like weeks to get there. The bus. We drove with friends from Lincoln, which is like middle of the U.S., to California once, nonstop. We didn't stop driving the whole way, and it took 24 hours.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's a
With
bit of
a
perspective.
regular, not
With a
super slow car
yeah,
as the
driving
bus.
normal speeds.
Oh, so you said Lincoln is roughly middle of the U.S.
pretty much
located.
Yeah.
Okay, because it's just so huge. It could be anywhere to me.
Yeah.
I know we had this joke like 20 times before, and nobody laughs about it anymore. But we had this school book with in the middle of nowhere, that's what it was called, and I think Nebraska was definitely part of in the middle of nowhere.
Seems like every German knows
Yeah,
this
and
and had it in school. It's really
so funny.
And
everyone
I think
mentions it.
what they just wanted to tell us, I think, is that the population of the US is actually, like, considering the Fläche.
Surface or area.
Yeah,
area.
considering the area, it's just not that big. It's just people living on the east and west coast and somewhere in the big cities.
Yeah.
So that it actually worked for me, and our school books provided us with perfect material for conversations with people from Nebraska.
Yeah.
Because you can come up with the crazy stories.
Yeah.
And so that's really a part of the story I never heard before. I never heard you being in California when you had the bus.
Mm-hmm.
So what was going on there? Have you been meeting people you knew, or?
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, we picked up 2 friends there.
We had 2 friends from Germany come to California and joined us on our trip for a while, for a few weeks.
Okay.
So they slept in the bus with us, and we actually drove up Highway 1, and then went inland California to Yosemite, which is an amazing place. You know, like the whole Highway 1, and then we saw some redwoods and the forests that are there and the ocean. It's just one of those amazingly beautiful places that you want to see, just compare it to the most beautiful places in the world, basically. And so that's pretty much what it was. We were just enjoying traveling and enjoying just going whatever our mind thought to do, and we just planned it out and did it. And